Hey, I'm Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life, Vlogmas edition. This is Vlogmas 11, which means we're 4 Vlogmases behind. Boy, that word Vlogmas that's difficult to say. So we have some catching up to do. First, let me thank everyone who's been joining us on our live stream for the past couple of weeks. It's been a lot of fun, and there's more to come. This video is about an upcoming event that's going to be interesting, educational, and probably a complete letdown. The Christmas Star. No, seriously, these advertised celestial events are hyped up, especially this one because it has Christmas in the title. But if you're honest with yourself, these events can be boring because there's not much to see. Now, before all you wanna-be astronomers and YouTube-trained physicists hit the thumbs down and exit, let me explain. When these kind of things are talked about, people expect this. But we get this. And that's cool if you happen to be outside and the weather is okay. So you're probably asking, am I going to cover this event on my channel on December 21st? Well, of course I am, because I happen to be one of those geeks who's into this kind of thing. In fact, this past July we talked about Comet Neowise, and that wasn't a disappointment. It was pretty cool. I even got to view it from my telescope. And this comet put on a pretty good show. And it's been the exception to the rule for the past 5 years. Okay, wait, this was a pretty good exception too. Actually, this was a pretty big exception. So maybe celestial events aren't always a letdown. And maybe the Christmas star will be interesting. You're probably asking, why am I talking about this now? It's a week away. That's actually why I'm talking about it now. For one thing, I'm plugging our live stream. But sometimes when these things are announced, we forget, and then the next day after the event happens, it's like, oh man, I forgot about that. So this is your chance to set a reminder on whatever device you're watching, unless you're watching it on a television. And if you're watching this on a television, this is just for your pets. Okay, so what is the Christmas star? Well, it's not exactly this. Or maybe it was. We don't really know. But here's what star experts are saying, and it just so happens that star experts are called astronomers. On December 21st, Jupiter and Saturn will align in a position known as the Great Conjunction. That just means they line up really close and cuddle. Okay, they don't cuddle, but from our perspective, they look like they're at least dating. Maybe not going steady, but kind of talking, hanging out. Now, honestly, this kind of thing happens about every 20 years, but they move on and start seeing other planets. But this year, they're getting really close. In fact, the last time they were this close was back in 1623, but no one really knows if they were like Facebook official or anything because the alignment was too close to the sun to view from Earth. The last time humans were able to see the Great Conjunction this close was in 1226, well before telescopes were invented and when 12-year-old King Louis IX was crowned in France. I know you were thinking that too. If you have clear skies, you should be able to see this with a common pair of eyeballs. Eyeballs come in a variety of colors. I'm sure you have a pair laying around. And if the eyeballs you have aren't working well, you can use these eyeball assist mechanisms. These EAMs come in a variety of colors, shapes, and sizes, and vary in their ability to assist eyeballs. Like any celestial event, it's going to be better if you have a telescope. It turns out, your average telescope only requires one eyeball to use, so if you only have one eyeball, and you're planning to use a telescope, you're in good shape. And here's a Christmas Star 2020 disclaimer. No one knows what it's actually going to look like, because 800 years ago, there weren't 3 billion smartphones to capture the moment. They didn't have telescopes back then either. And maybe no way to set a reminder. We just don't know. As one article put it, the truth is, no one alive today knows for certain what Jupiter and Saturn will look like on December 21st. That's part because this exact event, these two planets, this close, in this part of the sky, hasn't happened in our lifetimes. This same article explains that viewing will vary depending on the weather. You think? And it will also depend on your set of eyeballs, but we've talked about that earlier. But here's the thing I find humorous. For a long time, we've been taught in school and in facts videos and Google searches that this alignment appeared as the star that guided the wise men to baby Jesus. Well, the experts are sort of mum on that now, because this might not be as bright or as interesting as they've made it sound. Because Christmas Star 2020 is not likely to be the same kind of alignment seen by the Magi. Perhaps it's a good guess, but I'm not sure the Star of Bethlehem is a reoccurring event. Here's why. If anyone in the ancient world understood the alignment of planets, it was the Magi. Their whole belief system was based on the stars. They were really into predicting celestial events, too. They would have predicted years in advance the alignment of Jupiter and Saturn. What makes this different is that the star just appeared and continued to appear until they found Jesus Christ in Bethlehem. This was a serious road trip for the Magi, so the star continued to appear. Now listen, I'm wrong occasionally, and if this alignment stands out and we can see it with our eyeballs, assisted or otherwise, then I will stand or sit corrected. I'll even lay down corrected. Regardless, I'm going to live stream, even if it's cloudy, because that's what we do. We're not done yet, but let me take just a few moments to welcome back our subscribers, and if this is the first time you've stopped by, thanks for checking out the channel. We make a variety of video content, so you'll always find something you like on our channel. At least that's what I tell myself to get to sleep at night. Make sure you've subscribed and that you've clicked the bell for notifications, and as always, leave a comment. We want to hear what you have to say about this video or share anything else you have on your mind. During the month of December, we're live streaming every day and sometimes twice a day. It's always a lot of fun, so be sure to stop by. Let's get back to the Christmas star. Here's a few more interesting things about the alleged Christmas star. First of all, this event is taking place on the shortest day of the year, but it's just a coincidence. The last time this was seen, well, Genghis Khan was alive. Okay, that's kind of weird. And oh, by the way, it's 2020. Okay, look, I'm not saying that this is the apocalypse, but it could be the apocalypse, so make sure you have toilet paper. Anyway, an hour after sunset in the west, just above the horizon, it, or rather they, should be pretty easy to spot. Not to play the pronoun game, but Jupiter and Saturn aren't likely to look like a single star in the night sky. It's possible, but probably not. Still, it's going to be a pretty amazing event, especially with a telescope. If you don't know where to find Jupiter and Saturn, you're going to need an app. This one works, and the last time I checked, it was free. Now, you don't have to get the crazy bells and whistles with the free version, because you can find Saturn or Jupiter just fine with this app. And no, I'm not sponsored. We're going to do our very best to live stream the actual event. We have no idea how we're going to do that, but we're going to try. Regardless, we will bring you some awesome images the following day, I hope, because it's going to be cold. We're likely to do our Christmas stargazing in the mountains of West Virginia, maybe Virginia on the Blue Ridge Parkway, but it's more likely to be West Virginia. After all, they have the darkest skies east of the Mississippi. But believe it or not, the hour-long drive across Shenandoah Mountain into West Virginia can be a huge weather difference. So how long we can stand the cold, well, that's going to be interesting to say the least. But there's one thing going against my plans: the weather. When you're stargazing in the freezing cold, partly cloudy is just about miserable. You always have to keep a constant eye on the weather when you're planning to stargaze. And it's December, so you never know what the weather's going to be like. For example, we're expecting 8 inches of snow in about 36 hours. They were only guessing about snow 2 or 3 days ago. I'm sure you know the way that works, though. We'll either get a lot less than 8 inches, or none at all, or we'll get a foot. But you can believe it won't be 8 inches, because predicting the weather is difficult. So we'll see what happens. Regardless, I'm so thankful that you watched this video. My name is Bill Marion, and this is A Nose for Life. Be sure to check out our other Vlogmas playlist, which is mostly our live streams. It's right there in the top right corner of your screen now. Or check out some of our other videos.